Hello, I'm here to talk to you about how to supercharge your layouts with SAS lists and also grid, but we're going to get into that. So one of the most amazing things about grid template area is that you can essentially draw out the layout using your custom naming conventions. Like for overall page layout, I'm often using a lot of names that align with each other to style things. This doesn't translate into everything, but can work well for items that need some level of specificity. Um, so as you can see here, I have an area of like I want a 3-column layout, 3 rows. Across the top column, I want the header to span those 3 columns. In the second row, I want an aside in the first column, and then I want main to span those second 2 columns. And then in the last row, I want the aside to kind of jut down there, and then I want the footer to span the rest of those 2 columns. So that's what I would like to achieve here. I also have in the CSS here, I have some custom properties that align to some background colors that I want to set for each element. How might we do this in a way that's kind of fun using SAS lists? Well, um, we have some things that align in names. As I said before, I like to align some of my naming conventions here. So we have L header, L main, L aside, L footer, use L prepend with L for layout. And then we have BG color header, BG color main, BG color aside, BG color footer. All of those align as sort of just like having some prepended naming conventions with the grid area that they have here, also the element, but we'll get to that later. How might we make this better? All right, so we have things that we need, more or less. Let's make a list using SAS. So this is our preprocessor here. So we're just going to call this layout items. And the layout items, I'm just going to align with the items that we already have in the grid area. So we have header, we have main, we have aside, we have footer. Here's our list. Now we can loop those through using an each statement with SAS to create individual elements here. So we're going to do each item in layout items. So what this is going to do is just make whatever we want given each item in this list. So what we're going to start with is making a selector. And to do that, we can prepend it with, so everything's prepended with that L name. And adding that item variable into here. We have to extrapolate this using a hash and a curly bracket here because items that are protected in native CSS, like selectors and a few other elements that are like appear in functions, you have to extrapolate it out. Like I can't write just like L item because it won't compile that way. So you have to extrapolate it out there for selectors. So for L item, we're just going to make a couple of declarations that are global to all the items. So we're going to say, like, I'm just going to give things a border so you can see where things are. And then a min height for right now. Do like 20 viewport heights. That sounds good. Cool. So things are not in the right order, but they have some styling. So the one thing that we're going to do next is give it a grid area. So the grid area is going to say, attach it to this like little drawing we have here and put it in the right spot. So we're going to say grid area is, and this is where we can actually just use the variable here, item. Hooray, it's in the correct order. We have our 3-column header, we have an aside that juts down, we have 2 columns of main content and the footer. If I can show you the compiled CSS here, you can kind of see we have an element for each thing, L header, L main, L aside, L footer. Cool. So the last thing we're going to do is get a background color. So let's do this. So because we're using custom properties here, we also have to do the thing where we have to extrapolate it out. So we're going to do, so the way that custom properties work is a function in CSS using var. And so we're going to do bg color dash dash, and then here's our extrapolated variable item, and this should work. Hooray, we did it. Good job, everybody. Now we have a layout using SAS.